Hello, welcome back to our channel again. Today we are going to see navigation in Jetpack Compose. So in our previous Android Studios tutorial series, we have seen that to navigate from one screen to another screen in Android, we use start activity intent. Like we were using start activity for navigating from activity A to activity B in our uh, previous tutorial series, where we were not using Jetpack Compose as our UI library, and whenever we are using Jetpack Compose as our navigation, we use some other navigation approaches for moving from one screen to another screen. So let us move to our Google Chrome and see how navigation works in Jetpack Compose. Navigation in Jetpack Compose is a powerful and flexible system for managing screen transitions in a declarative way. So basically, in in Jetpack Compose, when we want to go from activity A to activity B, then we use some kind of uh, other approaches instead of intent, because there is no intent whenever we do our designing part and logic part using the same programming language in Kotlin in Jetpack Compose. Then we do not use intent to go from activity A to activity B. So how we are going to navigate from one activity to another activity in our Android applications, today we will see in this video. So how navigation helps in Jetpack Compose. First, for the screen transitions, like moving from one screen to another screen in a declarative manner, it is built on navigation component library. So basically, in our Android and in Jetpack Compose, the navigation is totally built on navigation component library, which is already present in our Android SDK and adapted for Jetpack Compose ecosystem. And it is developed in such a manner so that it can work with Jetpack Compose ecosystem. And what is Jetpack Compose ecosystem? Jetpack Compose ecosystem is developed for writing the code, both designing part and the logical part of the mobile application in the same programming language and in the same file, so that we can write both the front end and back end of the application in single code base. That's why using the Jetpack Compose is very necessary, and learning the navigation techniques in the Jetpack Compose is mandatory for us while doing the mobile application using the Jetpack Compose library. Key components of navigation in Jetpack Compose. So there are certain components of navigation in Jetpack Compose, and you have to learn each of them so that you can navigate your screen smoothly between one screen to another screen throughout your applications. Because if you are developing any kind of application, like any food ordering application or any kind of third party applications like Swiggy, Zomato, so you need your mobile screen to switch between two or three or and multiple screens in your as a basic step in every kind of mobile application. Therefore, learning the navigation techniques in Jetpack Compose is mandatory for mobile application development. So first part is NavHost. NavHost will act as the container for navigation graphs. Basically, NavHost is work as a container. So all the navigation part code is written inside the NavHost. So it acts as a container basically. So it is container for navigation graphs. And inside the NavHost, we define the screens to which we want to navigate. let us suppose, and also the routes, like from which route we will reach that screen, that is also defined inside the container class or the NavHost class. NavHost, we can say. So here in this code snippet, you can see that NavHost is acting like a container for the graphs, composables, and routes. What are the composables? Composables are the screen to which we are going to navigate. So NavHost is containing all the composables. Like here we want to navigate to home screen, or we can say that we want to reach the home screen from our current screen. And we have also defined the route here. So this is our route. So as we have already talked that is NavHost work as a container, and it contains various kinds of other components too, like the composables of the screens, destination screens to which we want to navigate, and also the uh, also the routes through which we will reach the destination classes or the composables. So one route defined here is details slash item ID. This is the route, and home screen is the composable defined here. The second component, key component of navigation in Jetpack Compose after the graph, nav host is NavController. As NavHost act as the container class, NavController act as the manager of navigation. So NavController manages the navigation, and it is the only one which allow us to navigate between the composables, and also to pass the data and handle the navigation back. For example, whenever we define any kind of controller, let us suppose we are defining a navigation controller and making a variable of navigation controller. Let us suppose here we are creating a nav controller variable of navigation controller. Then it will help us. Nav controller variable will help us to uh, hold the state of navigation, and also to navigate between the two screens, two composables, and pass data. Third part and the key component of composable destination is the composable destination. And composable destination is the third key component in the navigation in Jetpack Compose. It represents individual screens in navigation graphs. Let us suppose here we are representing setting screen composable, and also it is representing the single screen, individual screen in navigation graph. So it is defining a destination, and destination is setting screen. So we can use composable definitions for defining the destination. So whenever we are defining the destination, we are defining the destination composable here. So destinations are also important key components, because if we don't know where we want to navigate our screen, then there is a huge problem for the navigation, because our screen will never reach its destination. So composable destinations are the main part, and in middle section we can say our navigation controller help us in managing the navigation and navigating between the two different composables. And first part is navigation host, which act as the container for both the controller and the destination. Fourth part is NavGraph. NavGraph is a way to define and manage the routes between their relationships. It supports argument, nested navigation, and deep linking. So nav graphs are the whole system in which we define the navigation controller. As we can see, we have already defined navigation controller, destination. So let me explain you this whole navigation code snippet. Here we have defined a controller inside a NavHost. It will help us to navigate between the screen. Okay, and this start destination is defining a composable, and we can say it is a composable destination. So start destination is home, and how it will identify what is home. As we can see, composable definition is done here. Home is equivalent to this composable. So we can use home as alias here. So this home is working as an alias, and whenever we will specify home, then it will automatically be considered like this. And similar for this case, here we are defining some kind of path, or also we can say it is a route, and its definition is defined here. Fifth is argument. We can also pass some kind of argument between the destination through routes. So here we have route, which is details slash, and the argument we have passed here is item ID, which is our working as a value. So we are passing a value to details path, or we can say details route through our navigation controller. Also, we are getting navigated to details destination composable, and also we are carrying out some kind of value here to the details composable, and we can also catch these values variable in the destination details. Seventh type and key component of navigation in Jetpack Compose is deep linking. Deep linking help our application to handle URL to directly navigate to specific screens. Let us suppose we do not want any kind of data transfer and any kind of definition of composables and any kind of container classes like NavHost. Then we can use direct transferring to any certain path. For that thing we need to use deep linking, and deep linking is also very important topic. Like here you can see we are using deep linking here, and we are just defining here the direct link to which we can navigate our screen directly from one composable to another composable using the deep links. So let me explain you this. Here we are defining a composable with root, and we are passing a value here, and the deep link for this is this one. So we have defined a link for this. So this is how we can define the deep link of any kind of destination, and once deep linking is defined, you can use anywhere within your application, and it will directly navigate to your destination screen or composable. So basic example is this. So you can use this basic example for better understanding of your navigation in Jetpack Compose. Let me introduce you some kind of advantages of navigation in Jetpack Compose. First one is declarative syntax. It defines navigation as part of your composable, making it easier to read and maintain. So navigation in Jetpack Compose is quite declarative. We have to declare our routes, our destination composables, and that is why it is very easy to read instead of our old school method of using the navigation and doing it using intent, where we it is only possible for experienced programmers to understand where what the destination is, what are the route, and how where we are going to navigate if it is not properly written. Second part is type safe. Root and arguments are explicitly defined, reducing runtime errors. So roots and arguments are also explicitly defined here and reduces errors. Third is integration with state. Whenever we are using Jetpack Compose, then state management is kept in mind whenever we do any kind of navigation, so there is no chances of using any kind of state related issues. Flexible argument passing. In Jetpack Compose, using the deep links and type safe navigation, and we can pass our arguments from one composable to another composable or one screen to another screen easily. So these are some of the advantages of Jetpack Compose navigation system, and I have explained you already the major key components in Jetpack Compose. If you have any doubt in this video and navigation in Jetpack Compose topic, you can write down your comments in the comment section, and I will definitely reply your questions. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe our channel.